Today we are going to talk about that moment when you hear the words you have breast cancer and everything inside of you turns upside down. I know how heavy that space is. It's the waiting, the fear, and the questions about what comes next. So in this episode, I'm taking you back to the day my life changed, and I'll share with you how I found strength in the middle of the unknown, so that if you're in that place right now, we can walk through this together. Are you scared of leaving your children behind after a breast cancer diagnosis? Are you carrying fear, exhaustion, and that mom guilt while still pushing through every day? If you're tired of holding all of that and want simple ways to support your children and feel held in your journey and move through each day with a little more strength, you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Priska. I'm a mom of two, a woman of faith, and a breast cancer survivor. As a mom, I tried to carry it all alone, but I was never meant to. So I created this space for us. Come sit with me. You don't have to do this alone. So go grab your cup of tea. Yes, that cold cup of tea. I know you've heated it thrice already. And let's get started. Hey friend, before we get started today, I just want to say I'm really proud of you for showing up for yourself today. I know life can feel really heavy sometimes, so the fact that you pressed play, it means more than you know. And if you know someone who's going through a breast cancer diagnosis who might need to hear this episode, please do share it with them. Sometimes a simple message saying, "I thought of you when I heard this," can make someone feel a little less alone. And if this podcast has helped you or encouraged you in any way, please leave a written review too. I truly love hearing from you. And your reviews, they help other moms find this podcast. So let's get started. I don't know where you're listening from today. Maybe you're driving, or maybe you're sitting somewhere quiet. Or maybe everything just feels a little bit heavy right now, but I'm really glad you're here because I want to talk to you like a big sister would. Not as someone who's got it all figured out, but as someone who's walked a few steps ahead of you. And today I want to take you back to the day everything changed for me. It was April 1st, 2021. Yes, April Fools. But before I take you there, I just want to paint a picture for you to see what life looked like before that day, because I think this part really matters. I was in the middle of life, like properly in it. I was a busy mom of two. My son was 12, my daughter was 7, and my husband and I were both working full-time. So life was full. School drop-offs, pickups, soccer practice, tennis, dance. Honestly, I felt like I was living in my car. Everything ran on a schedule, like a really tight one. I was that mom. If it wasn't in the calendar, it did not exist. And then on top of that, we were renovating a property, an old house we were fixing up to sell. And I had been nominated and paid for by work to attend a leadership course. So it did feel like life was moving forward. We were settled in our jobs and we were building something, growing. And I remember thinking at some point, things are finally looking up. And well, on that morning, it was supposed to be just like any other day. I was going to go to a quick appointment, get it done, and then head straight to my leadership class. And it was actually the last day of training for that term. So I did what we always did, got the kids ready, packed the lunches, the usual morning rush, school drop-off, then straight to the appointment, then off to class. That was the plan. And nothing about that morning felt different. Nothing felt like this is the day your life changes. Well, let me take you a month before that. So during renovations, I'd gotten a small glass cut on my neck, and it wasn't serious, but it just wouldn't heal. And it was annoying because it sat right where my collar would rub. And then one day, I felt a lump under my armpit on the same side as the cut. And my first thought, well, it must be an infection because of the cut. I just needed antibiotics. That's it. No fear, no panic. I told my husband, I need to get this sorted so I can get back to everything else. And so I told my husband, I need to book a GP appointment. And even that felt like an inconvenience. And he felt the lump too. And then he said, I think something is in your breast as well. And I remember thinking, really? Well, yeah, there was something, but, well, it did also feel like the usual breast heaviness before periods. But then I thought, well, since I'm going to go anyway to the GP, I'll just mention it. And so when I walked into that appointment, I was thinking, let's just get the antibiotics and move on. And almost casually, I said, oh, well, there's this lump here that's been there. And the GP said, okay, let's have a look at it. And he examined it. And he paused. And you know those pauses that don't say much, but they say everything? And then he said, I can feel a lump. So no family history? Nah. Then he said, well, it could easily be nothing, but let's get it checked anyway. And just like that, I got a referral to radiology. And still, I wasn't worried. This was just something to tick off the list. And yeah, a few days later, I went for my ultrasound and mammogram appointment. And again, that's the day I thought I'm going to go in and out to my leadership class. But during the ultrasound, everything changed. So when they were checking, the sonographer paused. Then they called the radiology doctor in. And I remember lying there thinking, why are they calling someone else? And then the room shifted. It became quiet, but heavy. And then the doctor said, well, we're seeing something suspicious here. The kind we commonly see in cancer. And everything just stopped. There was gonna be no leadership course after all. That was no normal day. There was just this moment. And then they said, we do need to do a biopsy now. Your GP would recommend the same. And I want to stay here for a moment because this mattered more than I realized. I've always been so scared of needles, like really, really scared. But in that moment, something shifted. I knew I had to do it because that needle, that was going to be the bridge between not knowing and knowing. And I didn't know it back then, but this was my first win. The first of many battles I would have to fight because there would be so many more needles, many more. Do I still hate needles? Absolutely. But I also know now that was the beginning of my healing. And honestly, this is something I want you to hold on to. Sometimes the things we fear most become the very things that are a bridge into healing, into strength, into a version of ourselves we never thought we could become. And so I lay there. They did the biopsy. And even though nothing had been confirmed yet, something in me knew. And as soon as I walked out of that room, the first thought that came into my mind was, what just happened? And then followed by, well, if it has to come to my family, well, if not me, then who? Because I couldn't bear the thought of anyone else carrying this, whatever it meant. It was instant. And then my mind went straight to my kids, my family, and I got into my car and I called my husband. And I don't remember what I said. And I don't remember the drive home. I drove on autopilot. And this is someone who's lived by structure, by routine, by a full calendar. And in that moment, nothing mattered. Not soccer, not school, not work, not anything. And everything that once felt important, it just disappeared. So my husband left work immediately and he came home and stayed with me. And we waited for the GP appointment. Essentially, we waited for confirmation. But then, even though the sonographer had already hinted, we still waited, just hoping for a miracle. And for my body, I didn't panic, I didn't cry, I just shut down. I was so tired. All I wanted to do was sleep. And maybe you felt that too. That kind of exhaustion where your body is just trying to process something too big. Or the tears that won't stop flowing. Or the shock, the disbelief. And so we went to the GP and it was confirmed. Yep, it's cancer. And everything started moving quickly after that. But looking back now, 5 years later, there is something that stands out. We are never in control. No matter how much we plan, we don't always know what tomorrow holds. And this verse has stayed with me. Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. And over time, I've come to understand something deeper. That life is like weaving, And there's a poem that carried me through that season. And I want to share it with you so that you may be blessed as it has blessed me. So this is how it goes. My life is but a weaving between my Lord and me. I cannot choose the colors. He worketh steadily. Oftentimes he weaveth sorrow, and I in foolish pride forget he sees the upper side, and I the underside. Not till the loom is silent, and the shuttles cease to fly, shall God unroll the canvas and explain the reason why. The dark threads are as needful in the weaver's skillful hand as the threads of gold and silver in the pattern he has planned. He knows, he loves, he cares. Nothing this truth can dim. He gives his very best to those who choose to walk with him. And that's what I've come to understand, that we only see part of the story, the messy part, the painful part, the confusing part, but there's something bigger that's being formed. And even this diagnosis that you're going through, it's not wasted. And if you're sitting right here now at the beginning of your journey, I want you to hear this from someone 5 years ahead of you. You are not alone. You might feel scared. You might feel overwhelmed. And you might feel like your world just stopped. But you're not alone. I'm right here with you as your big sister in this journey. And there's a seat right for you here in this space. And it's yours. You don't have to be strong here. You just have to show up. And I'll sit here with you. Because this is not the end of your story. It's a chapter. It's a hard one, but it's not the end. And we are going to walk through it together. I hope this episode held you in some small way today. And if it did, please share with a friend who needs to hear this or maybe needs a soft place to land. And if you feel ready, please leave a written review for the podcast. I'd truly love to hear from you and to know that this show is supporting you in your journey. this space, it's not just mine, it is ours. So now go take a breath, maybe reheat that tea one more time, and I'll meet you back here for the next episode. Ciao.